this mate is actually pretty simple. Basically, you're going to do the same thing you already do with the two rooks, where you control line after line, and until the king is on the edge of the board, and you mate. So we're going to do the same thing with bishops, but bishops don't move over files and ranks. Bishops moves over diagonals. So that's what we're going to do: is line or diagonal after diagonal with the bishops until the king is in the corner. Once the king is in the corner, it's a pretty simple mate. So I'm going to show you how to give this mate in 3 simple steps. So how to mate with 2 bishops. Let's talk about that. First of all, I mean, this is a very bad position for our pieces. So I'm going to say the first step we're going to do is coordinate your pieces and make them active and put them in the right position. So for example, here I'm planning to move this king to a corner. I think this corner is probably the right corner for that. So what I'm going to do is activate my pieces, and then I'm going to control one diagonal after the other, right, with my bishops, and the king will be forced to move over there all the time. So that's the plan. So let me show you. For example, we can activate the king like this, like king d2, and then activate the king as much as possible. Then use the bishop, and then bring the bishop back to f2. And once we have something like this, we can say we are ready. We already finished the first step. Like, look at the bishops; they are very well positioned now, and we are ready to continue with the second step of the plan, which is going to be control diagonal after diagonal until the king is already trapped in a corner of the board. So, at this point, we can start with that idea. So you can play like bishop check, and the next plan could be, I mean, observe you're already controlling here and here. So the plan now is to bring this bishop to this diagonal. So you're controlling the next one, and then with the other bishop we control the other one. Well, let's see. We can play like, for example, bishop here, and well, our bishop is threatened. We can move it back, and at some point he will have to move, and then we are ready for something like bishop here. I mean, this is something we're going to see later. If he goes here, you can just bring your king a little closer, and eventually you will be able to play bishop h3 anyway. But, well, we'll see that very soon. But let me show you this idea. If the king goes back, now we are ready to play bishop here. Something very important that we don't have in the mates with the 2 rooks is that when you move the bishops, there will be a hole that the enemy king will try to take advantage of. So for example, once you move this bishop, there is this hole you're not guarding anymore with the bishops. So you're going to use the king to guard those holes you undefend when you move the bishop. Right now the square is already protected, but you will see very soon how you need to maneuver with the king if the square is not protected, so you avoid or you prevent the black king from escaping. Well, we can give the check right now because the hole is guarded by the king and they cannot go there. But then we continue maneuvering with the bishop and the king. For example, this is the situation I was saying. Here you cannot play here directly because it's a failure, right? I mean, it's a disaster. They just go the other side. So we need to make sure the king is not escaping over the dark squares before we give that check. For example, we're going to use the king for that to control those squares so he can never try anything crazy over there. So you can play like king here, and once they go back, they are already under control. They are not escaping anymore, so you can give the check right now. And then we can bring the other bishop, and again you cannot give the check because it's escaping over here. So what do we do if that happens? Precisely, we need to use the king to guard the squares that your bishop is not defending anymore after the check. So you need to play king here. Now you're ready for the check because this square is protected, so he's not really escaping. You can give a check and then get a little closer with their king. And well, this is the situation we were saying earlier. Right now we cannot play bishop here directly, but we can maneuver with the king, get a little closer, and we're good. So we continue maneuvering. Eventually we are able to play bishop there, and once you have this, you're winning, you're good, because the king is already trapped in the corner. They can only move over those 2 squares. So basically what happens here is that you have made in just a few moves, and this is like the final step. It's like the third step, like find the checkmate sequence. So here usually the bishop can go next to your king. That's a very good idea. And then after that checkmate, like bishop check and bishop mate. So like bishop here and bishop here. So this is a didactic example about how to mate with the two bishops. That's those are the three steps we want to follow. I'm going to play now versus the computer. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I am as good playing as I am teaching. So let's try it, right? Let's see if there is good luck. So first of all, activate my king, right? That's what I said in my master class about the mate with two bishops. I'm just joking. So now I'm going to connect like this, and I want to bring, for example, the king to this corner, so I will be controlling diagonals like that. I think I can play this move right here. Yeah, sounds like I can play that, right? I mean, I'm good. I can play that. And then I can go back. Okay. This bishop should be over here, so I think I can play this. I cannot give the check because he's escaping, so I'm going to cover that with my king. Now this is guarded, so I can give the check. And now I'm going to bring my king. Now he's escaping over here, but I mean it's controlled, so I can give the check with the next bishop. And then I'm going to bring my bishop over here. I think I can do that right now. And then I continue maneuvering with the other bishop. I think I should bring my king first. Maneuver with my king a little bit. And now I think I'm finally able to put the bishop on this diagonal. Once I do this, it's over. This, right? King next to the bishop. And now it's mate in two with bishop check and bishop mate. So, well, I was able to give the mate in 22 moves, which is not really brown. But again, this mate is not so hard. This is not like the mate with knight and bishop, which is much more complicated. That's another mate we already covered in the video, in the channel. But it's way more complicated. It takes more moves, more work. You need to learn, memorize things. And also I have the feeling, I don't have the statistics, but I have the feeling this one happens a little bit more often. So learning this one is more useful and also easier. So learning this one, I think, is a good idea. Learning knight and bishop, if you're curious, you can learn it, but it's probably not like as helpful as learning this one. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you have learned something new here, and I hope you like the video, right? Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you think the content is interesting. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, or also if you have any question, please let me know. Thank you very much for your time. I catch you guys in the next.